How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and it has been a very long time since I've made an informational PoE 2 video, or PoE video in general, I suppose. But today, I'm going to give you some info that should hopefully help you a little bit with your act clearing journey, because a lot of people are struggling right now really heavily with PoE 2, because it seems like they overswung the nerf bat real bad. So I'm going to give you all of the skills that I've had a really easy experience leveling with. Like, there's certain ones that you just pick up and you can immediately feel, okay, like the base damage is tuned higher, or just something's a little bit more effective with this. So then you can use those to get further into the game to then switch to the skills you want to actually use, because PoE is the kind of game where certain skills aren't really effective until you have the tools to be able to make them work, or the legendaries to make them work, or in this game's case, what I find is the skill points to make them work, because it's a lot of travel nodes to be able to get to any of the big stuff. Like, for example, if I wanted to play totems like I am currently and wanted to run Ancestral Bond, I counted these. The fastest way there is by 17 travel nodes to still gain access to the totem damage nodes. So that's why people are having a very difficult time, is if you want to pass the things that are important for specific builds or specific niches, there's a lot of traveling, which is why certain builds are actually winning over others. Like, for example, if we go to the new spear stuff here, the Rake with Stomping Ground is one of the best setups right now, because Stomping Ground is a support gem in here that I'll show you, and this makes it so that when you do a little shockwave around yourself, it'll deal damage equal to your strength as physical damage. Now, this is also usable on shield charge, and I was having a lot of good damage on that when I was playing a tankier character, and I'll probably end up putting that on this character that I'm using right now as well. Now, one of the other things that's really effective so far from my experience is Herald of Blood right here. And this was added recently with Dawn of the Hunt, and I think this is going to go on pretty much any melee character I make from this point forward, because what this is going to do is, while active, if you kill an enemy that's bleeding, it'll cause an explosion that deals physical attack damage that's unscalable. Now, that unscalable part is normally a really bad thing, but in this case, it means you can just slap it on any build and it's going to do really high damage, so long as you can get any bleed percent on your gear. Or you can just take the 50% bleed jewel, slap that on any skill gem, and just start exploding very quickly. I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second here. Since I've landed a chest piece, it gives me 50% increased chance to inflict bleeding on hit, which is kind of crazy, and it also works for my totem setup. So here's how my current build kind of looks, but I'll show you what I mean with the Herald of Blood effect here. When I find something, put the totem up, the totem will inflict bleed, and then the guys will explode like that. Now, it does consume their corpse, but if you use corpse exploding skills first, like Infernal Cry for example, then you get 2 explosions at the same time. So, I'm still messing around with this totem character, and we'll see how it goes. I could still hit a wall that bricks me, I don't know yet. Path of Exile 2 is not a forgiving game, but you can see what I mean with the explosion there, coupled with the fact that War Cries can also give Corrupting Blood with the right support gem, which is one of the other things I'm going to definitely suggest to you if you're playing melee, because this is able to kill literally some of the white mobs just outright, because Corrupting Blood does so much damage. And considering we're all backpedaling as well, bleeding is going to be really effective, because enemies will be moving, and when they're moving, they take increased damage from bleeding, which isn't something that's inherently obvious. But if you're playing a bleed build, you're going to want to be able to backpedal and whatnot. So a chance to bleed on bow shot would help as well, or any of the other skills as a ranger. Now, if we go to some of the other skills in here that I've had a really good success with, if we go down to bow, I've had really good damage coming out of Stormcaller Arrow. I don't know why particularly, but the damage the Lightning Strike does just does really good damage to bosses and to pretty much everything. So making a build around Stormcaller Arrow will probably be relatively solid, and using it as like a league start leveling skill, probably a pretty good idea as well. Rolling Slam has done a lot of early damage if you're playing melee. Use 2 of the basic wooden clubs and then try and use Rolling Slam, and you should kill most things with the final slam. Takes a little bit of spacing and whatnot to actually be able to one-tap them, but once you get it down, you can generally cruise through to get your next set of skill gems. It's a little bit unfortunate that the first tier is kind of underwhelming for most classes. I'm kind of hoping that, like, sword and axe are really good here, but it's been interesting so far. And otherwise, Essence Drain Contagion is also doing really well right now, which is kind of funny because I played it in 0.1 beforehand. I didn't want to make too much content on 0.1 since I knew things were going to change, but oh, he dropped a Wanderlust. Damn, nice. I mean, he's playing in Trade League, I'm playing in SSF, but still. Essence Drain Contagion is apparently doing really good damage because it's just constant damage over time. The nice part about this so far, or with the way things are going, since things are really tough, so long as you're able to kill it eventually, those builds are doing really well. Like Bleed's doing well, Chaos Damage is doing really well because the fights are so long that so long as you can just keep damaging things whilst moving around, you're at an advantage already. Because, for example, my totems and my Warcry will both inflict bleed, right? So, with totems, especially when I'm fighting a boss, I can set the totem down, and then I can focus on dodging mechanics and avoiding all the very scary shit that's getting thrown at my face 24/7. Same thing with Infernal Cry. I can pop the Corrupted Blood on a boss, and then now I can just kite while while the bleed just slowly ticks away at them. So Essence Drain Contagion is kind of the same thing, especially if you go Lich and you put an army of minions in front of you. Although minions are not doing particularly great right now, but just a couple of meat shields there so that you can get the Essence Drain to pop the Contagion, spread it around everywhere, and kind of go from there. It's a shame they didn't just add a cultist. Like, I find myself missing PoE 1 ascendancies. Like, I'd kill for Berserker right about now. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got for you so far. Let me take a look through here. I mean, martial tempo is always good to put on pretty much anything when it comes to skills and whatnot. Trying to see if there's anything else that kind of stands out to me. Impact Shockwave Bone Shatter is also a really good option. You get their stun bar to as close to breaking as possible, and then you break it with the Bone Shatter, and then that'll do a really nice AoE for you as well to get you some good clear speed. Once you get into deeper acts, you're going to want to also pick up Armor Break Explosion, which will basically do the exact same Bone Shatter explosion, but you don't have to use Bone Shatter. You can use pretty much any skill to be able to then get some AoE clear. You can combine that with Herald of Ash, which will make it so when you kill something, you don't need a bleed or anything, just whenever you kill something, the overkill damage will turn into an ignite on pretty much everything around you. Those are a lot of fancy words, but basically you kill something, and it does a little AoE explosion around it, and it kills other things. That's how Herald of Ash works. So don't disregard Heralds. They're really good. And be very careful with the first persistent skill gem you pick, because if you pick wrong, you're going to be waiting a very long time, unless you're playing in Standard League, and you can just buy a new one at pretty much any point. But yeah, those are my... I think that those are all my early game ideas so far. I quite like the crossbow with the incendiary shots. Wherever they are. Incendiary shot right here. That one was really fun. It wasn't all that effective, but it was fun. I did enjoy the crossbow playstyle, so I'll probably revisit that at some point. I've seen some people do well with the Stormlance as well, where they're throwing a bunch of AoE lightning lances with Herald of Thunder, I'm pretty sure they're using, with Thunderous Leap as well. And otherwise, Poison is pretty solid. Poison Pathfinder will probably do you pretty well, because like I said, damage over time makes it so that you can put your damage over time effect on the boss and then focus on dodging the mechanics, just to make it that little bit easier for you in case you're getting turbo clapped like 90% of us are. Haven't played quarterstaffs myself, and spells are just kind of seemingly not doing too hot from everything that I've heard so far. Minions are a little underwhelming, and well, that's kind of all she wrote. But yeah, let me know any other tips that you guys have in the comments down below. I will be slowly struggling my way through Path of Exile 2, and I'll probably come at you with some more tips, whether on the Shorts feed or right here on the main channel. Take care.